Welcome to the Lean Solutions Podcast. This is the podcast that adds value to leaders by helping you improve performance using process improvement solutions with bottom line results. My name is Patrick Adams, and this season I'll be joined by three other amazing hosts, including Catherine McDonald from Ireland, Andy Olrich from Australia, and Shane Doffenbaugh from the United States. Join us as we bring you guests and experiences of lean practitioners from all over the world. Hello and welcome to this episode of the Lean Solutions Podcast. We are excited to have everybody back here on the show. It's just Andy and I today. So Andy Olrich is one of our hosts for this season, as you know, and then myself, Patrick Adams. So we're just going to have a conversation actually about the upcoming Lean Solutions Summit, but we're going to tie in some conversation around the theme, unleashing the power of continuous learning. And then also Andy's going to be joining us in the US and speaking at the summit. So I'm excited for him to share just a little bit about how he's been starting to put together some ideas for what he's going to talk to us about when he comes in September. So Andy, welcome back. Excited to see you. I know it's bright and early on your side of the world, but how are you feeling today?
G'day, Patrick. Feeling great, mate. Feeling great. How are you? Going okay?
Going well. Yeah, things are going well. The sun's starting to shine here in Michigan. The snow's melted, and we're looking forward to the summer. So this recording will be, so we're recording today, and it is in the beginning of April. So I don't know when this episode will drop, but we're still very early in kind of planning the summit. So there's a lot of details that are already in place, but I know, Andy, I know you're still putting together things for your speaking engagement, and we have a lot that we're putting together with the summit too. So some of what we may talk about today might get solidified in the next few months when this episode actually drops. But Andy, no, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to you coming and joining us in the US. And if you remind me, you've been to the US once before, right? Or is this your first time?
No, so this will be my second time to the mainland US, if
Yeah.
that's a real thing. I've been to Hawaii a couple of times, but yeah, I went 1992 on a cultural exchange tennis program when I was at
Okay.
school. So that's a while ago now when I stop and think of that. But yeah, it was Sacramento, LA, places over in that part of the world. So Disneyland, of course, it was fantastic, great memories.
Yeah.
But pretty sure it's changed a bit. But never been to Lake Michigan, that part of the US. So I am super excited. It looks beautiful.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to have you here. And September is a really great time of year. It starts to cool down a little bit. So it's summertime. It's not too hot in Michigan, but it gets pretty warm. But September, things start to cool off. And then towards the end of September, beginning of October, which is right about the time when you'll be here, the leaves start to turn colors. And that's really my favorite time of year. The temperature's a little cooler. And we have so many trees, and you drive up the lakeshore, Lake Michigan lakeshore, and you can just see these just gorgeous views where, you see forever, and all the trees are all these different colors, and you got the big lake there. And it's just beautiful time of year to be in Michigan. So I'm excited for you to come and experience some of that with us. In fact, one of our team building excursions at the summit is a trip out on Lake Michigan. We're going to be in Lake Muskegon Lake on a boat together, and there's going to be some live music and some appetizers and drinks, and we're actually going to go see a lighthouse and a couple other things there. So I know you and I chatted a little bit about that. That'll be kind of exciting for you to be able to experience that along with all of our participants. It's actually included in the regular price of the summit. So it's one of the we have two team building excursions, and that's one of them. And the other one is a social bowl, which we'll talk a little bit more about that. But that's included in your ticket and everyone's ticket. So that's not an add-on or anything like that. We want people to come, bring their teams, and experience a really, really amazing summit and have a little bit of team building at the same time too. So.
Yeah, I have been Googling like mad around images around Lakeshore and places like that. And it's going to be great. I'm going to learn lots, learn lots, which is the point of the summit. But it's also going to be a bit of a holiday, so I'm really excited about that.
Nice. That's great. How long is the flight coming over?
On average, the flights are about 26 hours in total if the layovers and everything go well. So yeah, that'll be okay.
Yeah.
I've given myself a couple of days either side to adjust and back again with the different times and things like that. So hey, cruising around Lake Michigan, that will be certainly worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be great. And I just kind of, for those that are listening in, you can't see the screen, but I just shared the website, leansolutionssummit.com. You can go and see the website. Before we dive into kind of just talking about, some of what you're planning to present, I wanted to just talk a little bit about the theme of the summit, which is unleashing the power of continuous learning. Now, we chose this theme just before last year's summit, and I think it's an important piece for all of us in the continuous improvement world, because a lot of what we're doing as we're developing true cultures of continuous improvement is we're developing we're developing learning organizations that are where they shouldn't be. There's no fear-based culture, right? Where people should be free to experiment, to try new things, to learn, right? And that's how we learn, by trying new things. So I don't know what your thoughts are on this theme. You think this will be a powerful theme for the event, for participants, for the speakers?
100%. And what I like about lean and the way that it's approached and how we talk about it with our guests is there's no expert level achieved, right? I always feel I feel vulnerable in the moment when I'm learning new things about this and going out and talking to others about it, but also it gives me confidence to know that hey, you don't have to have all the answers, and it's about continuously learning, no matter where you're starting from or where you're at. So I love it, and it really connects well with me around this is it's all about learning and within the organization I work in, I am directly aligned with the learning and development team, and it's seen as a learning and development program within an organization that delivers improvements as well. So that was a spot on theme for me, and I connect with it well. So yeah, it's good.
Yeah. No, I'm looking forward to it. I see myself as a lifelong learner. I mean, I love to learn. I mean, in fact, right now I actually just kicked off, well, I guess it's been a couple months now, but I'm working on my private pilot's license. And it's a huge learning curve for me. I talked about this in a few episodes back, but I have the trainer is in the seat next to me, and he's got his own yoke and pedals, and I feel like I'm 6 or 15 again, with the driver's train instructor next to me with their own foot pedals to hit the brake. And it's been a huge learning curve for me, something I've always wanted to do, and it's exciting. But I see myself as a lifelong learner, in a lot of different ways, and that's why this theme is so important to me, because I'm coming to the summit to learn. Me personally, I want to learn, and I know the other keynotes, the other speakers, the other workshop leads, participants, everyone is, we're sharing our expertise, but we're also coming to learn as well. And so it's going to be exciting. I learned a ton at the last summit, from a lot of really, really great speakers. And this year, I'm looking forward to hearing you speak, Andy. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about as you're starting to kind of frame up what you want to talk about. I know that all of us would love to do some hands-on stuff. I mean, most of us lean practitioners use activities in all of our training. And I know one of the things you were thinking through was an activity that many of us in the lean world are familiar with, but you are thinking about putting an Australian spin on it. Is that right?
Yeah. So I am too. I love to be hands-on and very visual with the learning. So
Mm.
yeah, there's some activities that in the toolkit around if you're going to do training with people in lean or continuous improvement. And yeah, so I there's an activity there that's around, visual workplace and standards and quality customer voice of the customer. And as I with the learning piece, I'm the same. I'm coming over there to learn, but there's some things and ways that we approach, I think, down here uniquely that we can tie into what may be a common practice or seen before type thing. So, yeah, it's around the teams have got some activities with t-shirts, for example. We use that as the medium to get the hands on and start to move the thinking and outcomes. But there are some subtle differences down here that the more I talk to people around the world and we sort of bounce off each other, is there any differences? There's some things unique about Australia, the culture, and some of the approaches to lean and continuous improvement down here that I think will be new to many of the people there, regardless of where they are on their learning journey. So that's really the big idea is, look, let's do something that's fun and hands-on and maybe seems familiar.
Mhm.
However, there'll be moments throughout that where it's, oh, okay, well, that's a bit different. I don't call it that, or I haven't done it like that before. And tying that into, hey, we're all trying to get to a similar place using lean and those principles and things that we think we know about it, but there's different ways, or we can use those common threads, but also those points of difference actually can be powerful. So I'm trying to, obviously, maybe not going to be in the majority being an Australian at the summit.
Right.
So I want to try and tie in a few things there so people can learn a bit more about not only how we do it down here, but maybe some things about the place and our culture, because I absolutely want to take the same away from the groups, but also in those moments, but also at the summit, because
Love it.
yeah, we do kind of do things a bit differently depending on where we are. So that's the general gist of it, Patrick. So
Well, and we talk about this a lot, but lean is relevant at any time in any industry in any place in the world, right? I mean, we might talk different, we might use different activities or different words for different things, but at the end of the day, continuous improvement is something that is universal for all of us, and that's why I love what we do, and I love that the fact that you're coming. We have Thilo Schwartz coming from Germany. We have people coming from the UK. We have people coming from Ireland. There's going to be people from all over the world that are going to be at the summit and sharing experiences that, again, like you said, are similar, or maybe we've heard them or experienced them in our own country, in our own culture, but to hear it from somebody that's down under, or from Germany or wherever it might be, and see how they're utilizing some of these same
yeah,
tools to improve their processes is just like a whole nother experience for all of us. And again, that's why I'm super excited for the summit. It's going to be a lot
yeah,
of fun.
yeah, and I even think about it. So we're talking about it sort of on a global scale at the moment, but I mean, just within a state here in Australia, if you go to different organisations or different industries, there's a little bit of that there as well. It's this particular organisation does that does this, but they call it that, or they apply it in this way. So, and that'll be a cool thing for us to kick around the room. I think is, okay, we've done this, or we do it this way, or this is how we present it, or things like that. So I mean, it's intended to be like a TED talk
Yeah.
type approach. However, it won't be one way delivery and me just directing the room. Like, it's really, as I said, it's really about us all learning together. And
Sure.
I think there'll be some fun in there as well. That's how I operate. So I really want it to be fun and a learning experience. And we'll just, as we do, we'll see how far we get.
Well, fun is one of our 5 values at Lean Solutions, and so everything that we do, we make sure that we are having fun while we do it. So the Lean Solutions Summit is no different. So that's why a big piece of what we do is, obviously we're going to be there to learn, but we're also going to have a ton of fun. In fact, I'm going to go to the website here. I'm going to actually head over to the team building excursions. We already hit on that briefly and just talked, just a little bit about one of those team building excursions. I'll expand on that here just a minute. and then we'll get into, a couple of the other things that are happening at the summit. Some really, really great keynote speakers, some great workshops, just some good tours. We'll talk here about the tours here in just a minute. And see, the website is running a little slow here. There we go. All right. So team building. All right, here we go. So the boat cruise itself, Aquastar boat cruise. So we're actually going to, from the conference location. So the conference center, it's actually a newer conference center right on the lakeshore in West Michigan. In the city of Muskegon, which is kind of an up and coming city here in Michigan. It's really cool. Anybody that attended the conference last year, we had so much fun because you walk out of the conference center and you're in this little downtown area, and they have these amazing restaurants and just really cool vibe. There's actually one restaurant that's inside of a big ice arena, and that's connected and right next door. So you literally walk into the restaurant. You're sitting at the bar or at your tables and you're watching hockey, out on the ice in the arena. It's kind of cool. So it's a really cool city, a really nice area. But the other cool thing is being right on the lakeshore like this, we're going to walk across the street basically to the dock, and we're going to get on the Aquastar and go throughout Muskegon Lake. We're going to check out a couple other cool historical vessels out there in the water. There's a World War II ship. There's also the Milwaukee Clippers out there. There's a submarine that's in the bay. So all kinds of cool stuff. And then we have a couple lighthouses. Michigan is known for our lighthouses. And then we'll get out on Lake Michigan as well and check out the coastline, which is, there's dunes up and down the coastline. Beautiful sunset right off of Lake Michigan there. Just a beautiful area. So this is a team building excursion. It actually happens on September 25th, which is the second day of the summit. So the 24th, 25th, and 26th. On the evening of the 25th, when we get done, we'll actually be heading out to our team building excursion. So this is one choice. Again, it's included in the ticket, which is really cool. And then the second one is the Social Bowl. We did this one last year, and it was a big hit. There were appetizers there, drinks. There's a bunch of different entertainment options there. They have there's a beer garden, duck pin bowling, arcade games, oversized yard games, all kinds of cool stuff. So again, it's just a great team building opportunity. This is something that we want teams to come. We want you to learn together. We also want you to have fun together, and we're gonna do it all with everybody, right? So Andy, you'll be there. I think you were looking forward to the boat cruise.
I am, but I'm intrigued. Let's talk about differences. What is duck pin bowling?
Good question. So duck pin bowling it's actually fairly new for me too. But basically it's like these mini bowl. You know bowling, right? You guys bowl,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know, just making sure. But
Yeah,
so
10 pin bowling we call it down here. Yeah.
Okay. So it's basically these mini bowling lanes. They're probably maybe 8 feet long, maybe a little bit longer, 8 to 10 feet long. And then the bowling pins are fairly small, and you have a bowling ball that's like, I don't know, 2-3 inches, just a small little bowling ball. And so it's like mini bowling, and
Okay.
and then it resets for you, and just like normal bowling, you score it the same way and everything. But
Okay.
it's fun. Yeah.
Okay. There you go. I've learned something.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, we have like an arcade here called Time Zone, and there's like little strings on the pins. Once you knock them down, it just kind of raises up a little bit, and then they come back down. It is a mini type of bowling sort of thing, but duck
Okay.
pin bowling. Thanks, mate.
Yeah, it's fun. We did it last year, and I remember some of the teams get pretty competitive. So then they start challenging each other, and then people have a few drinks, and but it was a lot of fun. It was a great time. Hey everyone, I am sorry to interrupt this episode of the Lean Solutions podcast, but I wanted to take a moment to introduce you to our company, Lean Solutions. We exist to empower and equip people for positive change. We do this through our 3 pillars, which include training and development, coaching and consulting, and talent solutions. Whether you have specific areas for improvement, or you're not really sure where to start, we can build tailored solutions and provide resources to meet your needs. Send us an email at office@findleansolutions.com to begin your journey towards transformation. Now, back to the show. So those are a couple of the team building activities that you can look forward to, when you come to the summit. And just a couple other things that I want to mention. I mentioned that the summit is the 24th, 25th, and 26th of September. The 24th is actually our check-in day. So it's an add-on if you want to do a tour, or if you want to do, there's also, we had a request last year for individuals that, are new to lean, process improvement, lean, continuous improvement. They're beginners. This is new for us. A lot of students actually come to the summit as well. So they're asking for, can we get like a lean boot camp, or we're doing a lean yellow belt certification on day one. So people that don't know anything about lean can come on that first day. They can get brought up to speed with what lean is, a little bit of the background basics, tools, techniques, principles. So they can get that on day one, or they can also choose to do a tour. And we'll talk about the tours here in just a minute. And then we have the evening of the 24th is our panel discussion. So our panel discussion is with all of our keynote speakers who we're going to talk about here next. But the panel discussion is that evening of the 24th. And we have some really, really solid discussions. And our keynotes are amazing. So the conversations are going to be great. And after the panel discussion, we actually are having a cocktail hour. So we'll go into the vendor area. We'll have 20 plus vendors that have some really, really great tools and add-ons for a lot of companies that are working on their continuous improvement or their lean journey. So we'll have our cocktail hour with appetizers and drinks, which again are all included. And we'll have some great conversations and a lot of fun on that Tuesday night. And then Wednesday, we have our first keynote. And our keynotes I have shown here on the screen, but Thilo Schwartz, as I mentioned earlier, from Germany, he just published a book with Dr. Jeff Leiker, who's also involved in our summit and with one of our tours. And they just published the book, Giving Wings to Her Team, which is a story of an individual deploying Toyota Kata into their organization. And Thilo was just on the podcast not that long ago. So he'll be one of our keynotes. The amazing Katie Anderson. You guys know Katie and I are good friends. And she wrote the foreword for my book. I did a trip to Japan with her this last year. We're doing another one in 2025. Side note, if you're interested, reach out to me. But we're heading back to back to Japan in next year, spring of 2025. So Katie is the author of Learning to Lead, Leading to Learn, which was just given the Shingo Publication Award. So congratulations to Katie on that. She'll be keynoting. She's amazing. If you don't know her, she'll definitely knock your socks off. And then Billy Ray Taylor is just, oh my gosh, man. If you haven't heard Billy talk, he's the author of The Winning Link. He is just crazy amazing. The stories that he tells, the emotion that he brings to the stage is just it's uncanny. You'll be crying, you'll be laughing. He does an amazing job at just bringing some of his own personal stories into to the stage and to talk about transformation and the challenges and the successes that come with it. So, and then obviously I'll be on stage as well. Really just helping to MC the event and speaking on a couple different things, leading a couple activities, having fun, that kind of thing. So what do you think about the lineup here, Andy?
Very impressive. I will say very intimidating as well for someone like me. I just, yeah, there's some power in the room there. That is fantastic. And I just wanted to step back a little bit, and what I like about this summit is you talked about the lean boot camp, or for people to come along and learn for the first time. That is something that's a little bit unique, because sometimes people look at these things and go, well, I don't even know anything about this. I'll go in there. It's all going to be experts, and they'll all be talking in some language that I won't understand. Yeah, maybe not that one. So looking at this, is yeah, that first day is if you know nothing, welcome, and we've got these people who are coming along to share their learnings and stories. I think that's a pretty good accelerated first step to get in and be inspired. And yeah, not so much about the technical pieces, but the journeys, the stories, the emotion, the real stories. I think that's an excellent way to kick it off. But I'm really looking forward to. We interviewed Tilo the other day. That episode will
Yeah.
drop fairly soon, and I've got his book, and it's just such an exciting time for me to. I'm really pleased I got on this lean bus, right? Because now it's coming together quite well, and I'm going to get to meet these people in person, and me going there to present some things that hopefully I might in some way might be able to share some learnings with them. And that's the type of people they are, is they'll be open and seeking that. So the panel, the workshops, and everything, it's exciting. So well done.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun for sure. And you also were able to interview not just Tilo, but also Katie, right? In
Yeah,
Australia.
yeah, she was down here, and I was going along to her workshop anyway because I bought her book in 2020, like when it first came out. Uh, Grips of lockdown, and it was such a an eye opener and really well put together around Yoshino's story. And so I got to see Katie, and I thought, well, she's down here, and she used to live here as well a time ago. So yeah, we jumped on the couch and did a couple of interviews, a part one and a part two, and that's going to drop really soon this month in April.
Mhm.
She is, as you said, pure energy. She brings the fun to the room, and it was such a great workshop that she ran, and she does all over the world. So it'd be great to catch up with Katie again. She's lots of fun.
Awesome. Well, obviously, in addition to our keynotes, we have many other great breakout speakers and workshop leads. Andy, you're one of them. Dave Kippen, he was with us last year, actually, leads a great facilitation workshop. And Heather Scavo from here in West Michigan, she'll be actually sharing a case study with a company that she worked with, that she was actually a operations manager, and she'll be sharing a case study. Shane will be coming in from Nebraska. He's one of our Lean Solutions podcast hosts. Shane's amazing. He's great. Got some really good stories. He's worked for the state of Nebraska for a number of years, so he'll be great. Ruth Archer coming back again. She was with us last year. Sharing alongside Deb Levin-Trosser on lean in higher ed. Deb comes from the University of Michigan along with Dr. Jeffrey Leiker, and Ruth is up at Northern Michigan. And then Dan Vermeesh, I actually I mentioned a few stories about Dan in one of our previous podcast episodes. He was the plant manager at a company here in Grand Rapids, and led an amazing lean transformation there. And when you talk about servant leaders, man, this guy, he's up there. So he's great. And he'll be there. Alex Ramirez. Alex worked right alongside Paul Akers in implementing 2-second lean. We just had him on the podcast not that long ago as well. He'll be coming up. He actually leads operations for a large oil and gas global company. So he's, powerful speaker. Chad Bereither, he was with us last year. Amazing speaker, just released a book. He's doing some amazing work when it comes to strategic deployment in organizations. So he'll be one to see for sure. We already talked about the amazing Andy Olrich. Andy will be here sharing some amazing stuff. So I'm excited for you, Andy. Nigel Thurlow. Nigel's going to be here along with
Yeah,
John Turner. They just released a book. Actually, have it on my table here. The Flow System Playbook. That John was talking about that last year when he was here. Well, Nigel's going to come now. He's going to be with us along with John Turner. And actually, I believe Nigel might even be keynoting. So I think there's still, again, we're still early in the planning phases for the summit at this point. So some of that will probably be worked out by the time this publishes. But so that's just the beginning. And this doesn't even list all of our speakers and workshop leads yet. John Dyer is coming back to do the red bead experiment, and I'll talk about him here in a minute. because we're going to talk about the World Championship, the Lean World Championship that's going to be part of the summit this year. John Dyer is going to be helping to lead that, so we can chat about that here in just a minute. But what do you think about the lineup here? Any thoughts
Really
on
good.
this?
Yeah, really great mix. And I like that there's higher ed, there's oil and gas, there's all of these different industries and experiences. So it's not, as the struggle can be real for somebody who practices or is coaching others, is it's not just about the manufacturing. The origins obviously are there. That's something that I still um, come up against at times, and it's going to be fascinating with their, again, lived experiences, real stories, not just I'm book smart, I read it in a book somewhere, and here's what I think we should do. It's the real deal, and the opportunity to talk to them after their presentations and keynotes as well. That's where I find the power in the networking. So great job, as I said. Kind of intimidating lineup for someone like me. I'm there with next to Nigel Thurlow and people like that. So I just really excited, and it's going to be fantastic.
Absolutely, it's going to be fun. Two more things I want to talk about real quick: the tours and the competition. So you can see here on the screen, tour number one is, so there's two tours that you can choose from. These are add-ons if you're interested. They do happen on the 24th, and then the summit begins the night of the 24th with the panel discussion. So you can choose to do the yellow belt certification or one of these two tours during the day, and then be back for the panel discussion in the evening, and then the summit happens the next 2 days. But the first tour is Menlo Innovations and Zingerman's Mail Order. These are two locations you do not want to miss out on if you've never been to these before. Menlo's amazing. The group there at Menlo, they call themselves Menlonians. They they are creating an intentional, joyful culture, and they do some great work with visual management. They're just a place that's different than any other I've ever been, and a really cool place to go visit and learn about what it means to have a joyful work culture. And then Zingerman's, the cool thing about Zingerman's, we actually have Dr. Jeff Liker and Mike Rother. Both are going to be part of this tour. And I believe Mike is going to be in the morning and Jeff is going to be in the afternoon. So you'll hit one or the other on this tour, depending on which bus you're on. But they'll be there to lead the group through some Q&A, have some discussions about what you see at Zingerman's. Zingerman's doing some amazing work from a kata perspective, and just from continuous improvement in general. A lot of good visual management. But they do some pretty cool stuff there, and you can't miss this. Dr. Jeff Liker and Mike Rother, one or the other, you'll be able to rub elbows and have some conversations with one of them too during that tour. So that's a pretty cool add-on right there for sure.
Absolutely. The Toyota
Yeah.
Way, the books, just if anybody's thinking of or has been reading up on this stuff, that the names that are just getting dropped here, it's it's an all-star lineup. So I'll
It's going to
definitely
be
be
a blast.
on it.
It's going to be a great time for sure. The other tour is right on the lake, or well, it'll be West Michigan based tour. Coastal Automotive is they're an up and coming. I mean, they're doing some crazy good stuff. They just implemented an amazing Kanban system at their facility. They got some great visual management. The culture there is just crazy amazing. You talk with the director of operations, Toby Curry, and he'll just blow your mind on the kind of things that they're doing to develop a high performing, engaged work culture. They developed high performing work teams. They blew up their entire plant because they were set up in these different departments, and they created these kind of these high performing work team areas where, instead of being in a separate department, now they have these teams that work together, and it's crazy amazing. So that'll be a cool tour. And then Dematic was with us last year. They led an Obeya workshop. They're actually going to be doing a tour at their facility. They have an AGV factory, as well as a really cool cutting edge automation area where they're showing off some of their warehouse automation solutions, which are pretty amazing as well. So That'll be a great tour to be on, and it'll be hard to choose between the two of them, Andy.
Mm, I was
What
just
do you
thinking that.
any
Oh,
thoughts on which one you want to do?
oh. Well, from a, like I talked about Jeff Liker and Mike Rother, but definitely the tour around the Dramatic, is it, if that's how you pronounce it? Sorry, but yeah, there's like,
Yeah.
oh geez, can I do four four visits? I, I don't know, and I think either one will be very engaging, and there'll be lots of great things. You're lucky to have these places close by, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So that's one thing I'm
I'm
taking away. It's happening in Michigan.
It's happening, yeah. And in fact, next year we thought about shifting to the other side of the state out near Detroit because there's a lot of really good stuff happening out there too. But we'll see how that goes for sure. But yeah, we have a lot of really good stuff going on. I mean, you can see here, 3 networking days, 4 inspirational keynotes, over 10 breakout sessions, over 8 workshops, great tours, just some amazing stuff. The last thing I want to mention before we kind of wrap up, Andy, is the Lean World Championship. This is a competition where teams of 8 are going to be competing against each other. And if anyone is familiar with Lean Frontiers does a skill point workshop. Sometimes you see them listed out on LinkedIn. I would also recommend that if anyone is interested. We've put flyers out last year at the summit for the skill point. But the Steve on Sweeney does a lean environment simulator. So LES is what they call it, but they have this amazing simulation where you're building these these truck chassis, kind of mini truck chassis on conveyors. Well, Steve is actually bringing his simulation to the summit. There's going to be mini simulations in all different areas of a room, and these teams are going to compete against each other to create the best possible output or outcome for. So they're going to basically start with, a really terrible. They're going to watch. They're going to observe a really terrible setup, right? No standard work, lots of quality issues, terrible output. They're going to be able to see this, and then the participants at the summit are actually going to have the opportunity to observe and watch these teams while they're working, like live. They're working to improve each of these processes. So everything that they do has to be made visual. So they'll have all of their experiments up on the wall. They'll have their maps, their planning, their spaghetti diagrams, their problem solving will all be made visual, and it all has to happen live and visual for all the participants of the summit. So no, I've never seen anything like this done before. It actually, John Dyer helped kind of create this idea, and there's going to be judges. So John's one of the judges, and each of the teams will be evaluated, not just on the output, but not just on the quality, not just on output, but also on how they work as a team. And how they actually are able to come up with the solutions that they come up with. Not only that, but each of the teams has to have a frontline employee on the team. These aren't just, professional expert process improvement consultants that are on. These are, managers, team leads, frontline employees that are coming together on this team, and they're going to compete for the championship. So I'm super excited about this. It's going to be the highlight of the summit for sure.
I laugh because I can just think about some of the people I know down here that are in this space or are going to be like, if we had to compete against each other in I think Steve and John, for example, if they're managing the room there, they're going to have their work cut out for them at times. I think because I think it'll go a bit crazy in parts, and it will be competitive. And yeah, if you didn't, maybe I don't know whether it's before or after is it duck pin bowling?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
there might be a little bit of that. Oh, I missed out last night, but I'm going to get you today. It was the Lean World Championship. I am yeah, I'm excited. My mind's going in a few different directions for how that's going to be really, really fun and engaging, but also, yeah, when you put some some people and split the teams up a little bit. I just think that's going to be really good to watch that all go down. So bring it on.
Well, I'll tell you what, Andy, for those that are listening in that say, man, that sounds really fun. I would love to do that. Don't worry. If you don't have your team of 8, that's okay. Show up to the summit, because when you get there, you'll be asked if you want to be part of a team that we're going to put together of participants at the summit. And then obviously once those spots are full, they're full. But when you get there and you check in, you could have the opportunity to be on one of those teams. So, just look forward to that.
I think that's great. Yeah. And
Awesome.
it will be super hands-on. I've seen Steve's he called his simulator. I've seen some things, and we interviewed him as well on the podcast. And
Yes,
that's going to be great.
it's going to be amazing for sure. Well, Andy, we got to wrap this up, man. I'm sure we could talk about a lot of other crazy, amazing things that are going to happen at the summit, but I'm excited for you to fly over and be part of the summit this year. It's going to be amazing. It'll be great just to sit down and have a chat with you in person, and yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing you. Looking forward to you being here and presenting, and us being able to learn from you. So appreciate
Thanks,
that.
mate. And well done for pulling this all together. I am really excited too about getting to meet you guys in person. It's been a few years since we first connected on LinkedIn, and here we are now. And yeah, it's going to be great to get in and be able to chat, not over the airwaves, and get to meet all these great people and in person and learn. And I just think, where am I going to be? Like, what's my head going to be like when I'm on the plane back home? There's just going to be that many things coming on, and I'll get back to work and people think I could just see me jumping out of my skin. So pretty sure that's going to happen. Thanks, mate. And can't wait.
Absolutely. Well, if anyone's listening in, if you're listening in and you're interested in the summit, we want you to come. Anywhere in the world, you're invited. If you're listening to this podcast and you hear this and you heard something that we talked about today that interests you, check us out at leansolutionssummit.com. We'll put a link to that in the show notes. leansolutionssummit.com. You can register. I'm not sure if early bird pricing will still be open when this episode drops, but there's definitely lots of different ways, especially if you're bringing your whole team. Just shoot us an email. There's some discounted pricing for group pricing, things like that. There's student discounted pricing. Also, some of our track partners, including the University of Arkansas, who's our higher ed track partner. So they have some discounted tickets as well. So you could, if once you know who the track partners are in your industry, you can reach out to them and get some discounted tickets. So again, we would love to have you here. Don't allow money to be the reason you don't come. Just give us a call. Let's figure it out. We'd love for you to be here in attendance, in person. It's going to be a great event and a great time of sharing and networking and just having fun together. So you're invited. leansolutionssummit.com. We hope to see you here. Register right on the website, and we'll see you in September. Thanks so much for tuning in to this episode of the Lean Solutions Podcast. If you haven't done so already, please be sure to subscribe. This way you'll get updates as new episodes become available. If you feel so inclined, please give us a review. Thank you so much.